We are live in Orlando, and for the first time ever, the jailed mother's June roommate goes on the record. Clint House spent many, many hours with Casey Anthony in the crucial days in June, both before and after her daughter Kaylee's disappearance. Clint was also a DJ at the infamous Club Fusion, where Casey was seen partying on June 20th while she says she was looking for her missing daughter. Casey has been locked in a jail not far from here since July 16th for lying to investigators and failing to report her daughter missing for more than a month. Moments ago, we spoke to Clint House. With Tony and with Casey in June, is that right?
Yes, I did.
All right. Back me up. How do you know Tony?
Me and Tony, we went to school together. We were business partners. We've been friends for, about a year now.
When did you first move into Tony's place?
A few months before he met Casey.
So you remember meeting Casey?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Where did you meet Casey?
At a party that we threw for a friend of ours, May 24th. It was our friend's 24th birthday, and we had a party for him, and Casey came to it.
How did Tony meet Casey?
I believe it was through Facebook that they met.
And sometime before that?
So, yeah, before that, and Tony had told Casey to come to the party.
Did you talk to Casey that night?
Oh, yeah, we were playing, drinking games together and, all hanging out, and that's when we first met her.
And as well as Tony, that's when Tony first met her?
Yes.
What was your first impression?
She seemed like she was a great girl. I mean, I told Tony that, he needed to, I say wife her up, because she seemed like she was a good girl. She was very nice. She was outgoing with all of our friends and everything, so she seemed like a good person.
So on May 24th, that first night that you spoke to her and drinking games, did she tell you anything about her?
Not anything, out of that didn't seem normal. She was just, hey, I work for Universal Studios. She did tell us she had a daughter. Tony knew she had a daughter before he met her. So just, random conversation, just nothing too serious.
Did Tony seem to like her and she seemed to like Tony?
Yes, very much so.
No doubt about it?
No doubt about
it. That night, the May 24th, did she go home?
Yes, she did.
When was the next time you saw her?
The next time I can remember seeing her was when she came out to our Fusion Friday nights.
What day? What month?
It would be a Friday.
Do you remember what part of June?
May 30th was the Friday. That was the next Friday after the party that we had thrown for our friend.
So 6 days later she comes to the place. What, did you talk to her then?
Yeah, just, hi, how you doing, what's going on? Just friendly conversation.
Did she, how much did you have to drink that night?
I can't tell you. I have no idea.
Was she drunk?
I can't remember. Okay. I was working, I was DJing, so I don't really know.
And Tony was there?
Yes.
Did she leave and go home, or did she go back to yours and Tony's place?
She came back to the place with Tony.
Spent the night?
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us into May 31st. Did she then stay at Tony's until you moved out? You moved out July 1, right, or about that?
July 1st, yes.
Okay. Did she stay at Tony's beginning May 31st until July 1st?
It wasn't for another couple weeks before she started really being over there for a long time, long periods of time without Caylee. But up until probably the second week in June, she was going back and forth between, I guess her grandparents or the parents' home or a friend's house, or she told us that she was always going, somewhere, and we believed her. So,
did she say whether or not she got along with her parents, whether she liked her family?
She said she liked her family. It seemed like she had a pretty good relationship with her parents, because I know there was a couple times where she'd be on the phone with her mom. It seemed like they had a pretty good relationship.
Did you ever hear her lie to her mother?
Not about anything that I would know about,
Okay, so she didn't say when on the phone, I'm in Jacksonville, and she was sitting there right there. Nothing like that?
No, nothing like that.
When did you first meet Caylee?
Met Caylee probably a week after the first time we met Casey. She brought Caylee over and introduced, Tony to Casey, introduced to Caylee, introduced us to Caylee. So it was probably about a week after the first time we met Casey.
So would that be about the 30th, or is that beyond another week?
It's probably the 30th, like the 29th, 30th. It was almost right after we had met her.
What did you think of Caylee?
Most precious little girl I've ever seen in my entire life. When she would be in a room, she lit the room up.
Did you spend any time alone with her?
Yeah, I did. There was a couple times when Tony and Casey would be, you know, hanging out, doing something, and I would have Caylee in the living room playing with her, teaching her words, and watching TV with her. She loved the Pink Panther.
How would you describe Casey's relationship with Caylee in front of you?
Fantastic. As far as I could tell, they had one of the best relationships a mother-daughter could have. Casey never yelled at her. She had a little box of cards that she would always do like a little flash and with different pictures and different shapes and different colors that she would have Caylee name out in front of her. And she seemed like she was a very good mother to her.
Never short-tempered in front?
Never short-tempered, no. Nothing out of the ordinary. Like, she maybe yell at her, like, don't go outside, you know, right now, because Caylee would always try to run out the front door whenever they were getting ready to leave, and, you know, Casey would be like, come back inside, but, you know, that was nothing too serious.
All right, let me pick an arbitrary date, June 15th, which is the day before Father's Day, which was on a Sunday. Up until the time of June 15th, did Casey, as you know, go off to work? Did she leave during the day?
Yes, she did.
What time would she leave?
She would be gone right before I would leave. I would leave for school. We would leave about the same time. I left for school. I had a class at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I would leave about 8:30. So she'd be getting ready to leave about the same time.
Would she take Caylee with her?
Caylee never stayed the night over.
So she just brought Caylee over during the day, and you met her, but otherwise she stayed at the grandparents'?
Mm-hmm.
Did she ever mention Zenaida Gonzalez?
No, not once. Never heard that name at all.
Have you seen the apartment on television where supposedly she was living?
Yes, I have seen that apartment.
Do you know that apartment?
No.
Do you know if Tony knows that apartment?
No.
Now, so let's go to this arbitrary June 15th I've picked. That's Saturday before Father's Day. The next day is Father's Day. Do you remember Father's Day?
Yes, but I was up in Jacksonville.
With your own father?
With my own father, yes, ma'am.
Did you talk to Tony or Casey and know we're there?
No, I was too busy hanging out with my dad. And
when did you return from Jacksonville?
on Sunday, the 16th.
Do you remember if Sunday night Casey was there?
I believe so, yes, she was there. Caylee wasn't there. You know, like I said, I was still staying there up until July 1st. She was there a lot. You know, it's really kind of hard to put a number on the times that she was there, but she was there a lot.
So when Caylee was there during the day and you met Caylee, would she then take Caylee someplace and then come back and spend the night alone?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any idea? Did she ever say where she was taking Caylee?
She said she was taking her home. That's all. And we all figured that home meant back to Casey's parents' house.
All right, so go fast forward again to Father's Day, June 15th. You return later that day. You think Casey spent the night there, that Sunday night. Do you remember waking up that next day, the day after Father's Day?
Yes, Monday for class.
Do you remember seeing Caylee?
No, Caylee was not. Like I said, Caylee never spent the night over there. So.
How about Casey? Was Casey there that morning, if you remember?
I can't recall.
Do you remember anything at all about June 16th?
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. Just a regular day to me.
Between June 16th and July 1st when you moved out, was Casey still coming to see Tony and spending the night?
Yes, and it became more frequent, and being almost every single night she was staying there.
Do you remember that week of right after Father's Day? Anything unusual that week?
Nothing unusual, besides the fact that Caylee was never there anymore. We always asked her, you know, where's Caylee at? Oh, she's with her grandparents, or she's at the beach with a nanny. But nothing, I mean, other than that didn't strike me as unusual at the time. But other than that, nothing, no.
All right, July 1st when you moved out, did you talk to her in the days leading up to July 1st?
No. I mean,
in like the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, did you see Casey?
Yes, I saw Casey.
Did Casey mention Caylee? Where was she then? Not at all.
Not at all.
When did she stop saying that Caylee, if you remember about when did she stop saying Caylee was at grandparents?
She never stopped saying that. That was the only thing she ever told us.
So up until July 1, was she still saying that Caylee was at the grandparents? Yes. And what's your level of certainty that she was still up until July 1 saying that Caylee was at the grandparents?
Positive.
Positive?
Positive. That she always, anytime we ever asked her, anytime any of my friends ever asked her where Caylee was, she always said she was with the grandparents.
Coming up more